Our brains are amazing machines, built to find patterns and make sense of the world. But sometimes, reality throws us a curveball, a statement or a situation that seems to defy all logic. We call these paradoxes, and today, we're going on a safari through some of the wildest and most brain-melting paradoxes known to science and philosophy. Let's start with a classic, the ship of Theseus. Imagine you have a beautiful wooden ship. Over the years, its planks begin to rot. So, one by one, you replace every single piece of the ship with a new, identical piece. When all the original parts have been replaced, is it still the same ship of Theseus? Now, what if you take all the old original planks and build another ship? Which one is the real ship of Theseus? This applies to us too. Our cells are constantly being replaced. Are you the same person you were 7 years ago? Okay, brain feeling a bit stretched? Good, let's try the grandfather paradox. Imagine you build a time machine and travel to the past to meet your grandfather before he met your grandmother. If you prevent them from meeting, your parent is never born. And if your parent is never born, then you are never born. But if you were never born, who went back in time to stop them from meeting in the first place? And logic just broke. Let's stick with time travel for a bit. This is the bootstrap paradox. A time traveler buys a copy of Hamlet, goes back in time, and gives it to Shakespeare, who then copies it and claims it as his own. Over the centuries, Hamlet is reprinted, until a copy lands in the hands of our time traveler who takes it back to Shakespeare. So the question is, who actually wrote Hamlet? Let's move from time to economics with the Jevons paradox. The paradox states that as technological improvements increase the efficiency with which a resource is used, the rate of consumption of that resource tends to increase rather than decrease. Making things more efficient can make us use them more. So your super efficient LED light bulbs might actually be contributing to you using more electricity overall, simply because it feels cheaper to leave them on. Ready for a philosophical one? The paradox of tolerance. The philosopher Karl Popper argued that in order to maintain a tolerant society, the society must be intolerant of intolerance. Because if a tolerant society tolerates the intolerant will eventually seize power and destroy tolerance itself. A tricky balancing act that societies have struggled with for centuries. Where do you draw the line? Next up, a paradox from literature that has entered everyday language, catch-22. Imagine a pilot who doesn't want to fly dangerous missions. He can be excused from flying if he is declared insane, but to be declared insane, he has to ask for a mental evaluation. However, asking to get out of dangerous missions is considered the act of a sane person. So anyone who wants to get out of combat duty isn't really insane, a perfect, inescapable trap. Let's get cosmic with the twin paradox. According to Einstein, the faster you move through space, the slower you move through time. This is called time dilation. So if one identical twin takes a trip on a spaceship traveling near the speed of light, when they return, they will have aged less than the twin who remained on Earth. The paradox is, from the traveling twin's perspective, it was the Earth that moved away and came back. So shouldn't the Earth's twin be younger? Which twin is correct? The solution lies in acceleration. The traveling twin had to accelerate, turn around, and decelerate, breaking the symmetry of their experiences. So the space twin really is younger. Let's dive into a pure logic puzzle. The Pinocchio paradox. We all know Pinocchio's nose grows when he tells a lie. Now, what happens if Pinocchio says, "My nose will grow now"? If his nose grows, he was telling the truth, so it shouldn't have grown. But if it doesn't grow, he was lying, so it should have grown. It creates an impossible logical loop. Let's look at a paradox of motivation, the paradox of hedonism. This paradox suggests that the more you directly and consciously search for happiness, the more it eludes you. Instead, happiness is often found as a byproduct of engaging in meaningful activities and pursuing other goals. It's something you find when you're not looking for it. Time for another logic trap, the crocodile paradox. A crocodile steals a child and promises the parent it will return the child if, and only if, the parent correctly predicts what the crocodile will do. The parent cleverly predicts, "You will not return the child." Now the crocodile is in a bind. If it keeps the child, the parent was right, so it must return the child. But if it returns the child, the parent was wrong, so it should have kept the child. Poor crocodile. If you're enjoying the video, help out by giving it a like, and subscribe for more mind-bending content. Let's revisit ancient Greece with Achilles and the tortoise. The swift hero Achilles is in a race with a slow tortoise who is given a head start. The paradox argues that to overtake the tortoise, Achilles must first reach the point where the tortoise started. By the time he does, the tortoise has moved a little further. This process repeats infinitely, suggesting Achilles can never logically catch up. Let's visit the barber shop for the barber paradox. In a town, there is a barber who shaves all men who do not shave themselves, and only those men. The question is, who shaves the barber? If he shaves himself, he violates the rule that he only shaves those who don't shave themselves. If he doesn't shave himself, he must shave himself according to his own rule. It's impossible. Things are about to get weird. Let's talk about the Boltzmann brain. This is a thought experiment suggesting that it's more likely for a single, self-aware brain to spontaneously form in a void, complete with false memories of a life, than it is for the entire universe to come into being as we know it. The paradox is, how can you be sure you're not one? Statistically, you should assume you are a Boltzmann brain rather than a product of lengthy evolution. Sleep well tonight. From one weird thought experiment to another, Schrödinger's cat. Imagine a cat in a sealed box with a device that has a 50% chance of killing it in the next hour. According to quantum mechanics, until you open the box and observe the system, the cat is in a superposition of states. It is considered both alive and dead at the same time. The act of observation forces nature to choose one reality. This paradox highlights the bizarre and counterintuitive nature of the quantum world. Here's a paradox about evidence: the raven paradox. If you want to prove the hypothesis that all ravens are black, seeing a black raven supports your claim. Logically, the statement all ravens are black is equivalent to everything that is not black is not a raven. So, by that logic, observing a green apple which is not black and not a raven should also be evidence that all ravens are black, which feels wrong, right? Let's tackle a fuzzy one, the Sorites paradox. Imagine a heap of sand. If you remove a single grain, it's still a heap, right? If you keep removing one grain at a time, at what exact point does it stop being a heap? There's no clear line. This paradox challenges our vague concepts like heap, tall, or bald. One hair doesn't make the difference between bald and not bald, but a whole head of hair does. Let's wrap our heads around the ironic process theory. Also known as the white bear problem, it finds that deliberate attempts to suppress certain thoughts make them more likely to surface. Try not to think of a pink elephant. See? Feeling overwhelmed? That's perfect for our next one, the paradox of choice. The theory suggests that while we might believe having more choices is better, having too many can actually lead to anxiety, indecision, and dissatisfaction. With fewer options, we are often more satisfied with our choice. More isn't always better. Let's celebrate with a surprising one, the birthday paradox. In a group of just 23 people, there's a 50% chance that at least 2 of them share the same birthday. In a group of 70, that probability jumps to 99.9%. It feels counterintuitive, but it's a statistical fact. It works because you're looking for A and Y pair, not a specific birthday. The number of possible pairs grows much faster than the number of people. Here's the classic riddle, the irresistible force paradox. What happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object? The paradox lies in the setup itself. In a universe where an unstoppable force exists, an immovable object cannot exist, and vice versa. They are mutually exclusive. Ever feel like your friends are more popular than you? You might be right because of the friendship paradox. On average, your friends have more friends than you do. This isn't a reflection on you, but a feature of social networks. It happens because you are more likely to be friends with someone who has a large number of friends. Those people pull the average up. Another logic loop. This is the card paradox. Imagine a card. On one side, it says, the statement on the other side of this card is TRU. And on the other side, it says, the statement on the other side of this card is false. So, which statement is true? If the first is true, then the second must be true, but the second says the first is false. It's a contradiction either way you look at it. Let's finish with the famous twin paradox again, but this time from the other side. The core of the paradox is that motion is relative. From the astronaut's point of view, he is stationary, and the Earth twin is the one moving. General relativity resolves this by showing that the astronaut's path through space-time is different due to acceleration. The twin who undergoes acceleration is the one who ages less. No paradox after all. Paradoxes aren't just frustrating brain teasers. They are powerful tools. They push the limits of our logic and language, forcing us to refine our understanding of the universe, from the quantum to the cosmic, from the mind to society. So, the next time you encounter a contradiction, don't just dismiss it. It might be the doorway to a deeper truth. Thanks for watching.